Hello, I always welcome submissions from my subscribers. Well, you don't have to be a subscriber actually, just generally from people who might have seen, heard or thought something sparked off by one of my videos. I read as much of the posts I get and the emails. I find them really valuable and inspiring in many cases, and occasionally very saddening. This was somewhat saddening, and it's from a subscriber, I'll call him Mac, and he sent me the following communication. I'm Granniopteryx. Please like this video, please share it, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want to help me financially, well, in the description you will find several ways you can do that, different platforms. However, if you're not helping me financially, you can help me a lot simply by sharing this video. Okay, you know, you can share it on YouTube. You can also share it on various channels, including Facebook, I believe. So this is from Mac. It says here, on the topic of free speech and restrictions, I witnessed a horrible example of intolerance last Saturday. I got off the bus in Glasgow city centre, the Toon, and hobbled my way up Buchanan Street past Fraser's, that's a department store, and was behind a young couple who were wrapped up in each other, doing no harm. I heard the young guy making a comment about Hamas being baby killers to his girlfriend, and all hell broke loose. A fat, sweaty leftist lost the plot and ran over to the boy, shouting and swearing at him for uttering those words. I'd suggest those heretical words. This unwashed leftist, who sounded very posh, well, yeah, don't they all, was really offensive and aggressive and started to assault the boy verbally, telling him to shut up, stop saying those things, etc. And then, oh, I think that's a misprint there, and then he started to throttle the boy. I mean, was he arrested for that? Now, what Max says is, to the boy's credit, hang on, I'm going to make a separate paragraph of this. To the boy's credit, he didn't retaliate, but the poor young girl was terrified and emotional and tried to break them apart. To the boy's credit, he didn't retaliate. I should think he would. I should have hoped he would have retaliated, and that is actually part of the problem. The reasonable people don't retaliate in the face of the viciousness of the be kind mob. But then again, maybe the boy being throttled really didn't have the capacity to retaliate, so I'm going to hold fire on that one. I, that is Mac, stepped in to lend a hand. I want to point something out. Mac said he hobbled up Buchanan Street, which means that Mac either temporarily or permanently has some sort of a disability. And yet he stepped in to help rescue a young man who was being throttled by apparently a very much larger person with anger issues by the looks of things. Okay, so yeah, kudos to you, Mac. I stepped in to lend a hand and we separated them, but the grease stain continued to chase, harass and shout at the couple. I don't suppose there was a policeman around to deal with that, was there? No. I was saddened and angry for several reasons, says Mac. You don't attack people when they're with their wives or girlfriends. Yeah, quite right. But this is obviously somebody, well, this unwashed leftist is somebody who has abandoned conventional morality and manners, hasn't he? Anyway, also, it was a private conversation between two people, nothing to do with the grease ball. quite right. And yet, said greaseball felt entitled to verbally and physically attack a couple with whose views he doesn't agree. Well, isn't that the style now? I took away from that message that society is dead. Am I just being dramatic? Well, no, society isn't dead, Mac, because people like you are stepping in to rescue people like that kid. So I'd say you were a fine example of society not being dead. However, for sure, it is beleaguered. And what's happening here is, you see, we've got the answer here. To the boy's credit, he didn't retaliate. Well, you know, one good way to retaliate against somebody who is throttling you is to kick them in a sensitive place. It's probably the case that the boy was in a position to do that and didn't because he was too well-mannered. Meanwhile, he was having the life choked out of him. And that's part of the problem with British society. It's full of well-mannered people who, in not resorting to the sort of underhand methods adopted by the left, are being throttled. And we're being throttled in more ways than one because, as we all know, the left are now throttling our ability to say things on the internet. And every time I make a video, I'm risking my freedom, or at least an unpleasant episode with the police at the front door. So, yes, that's the problem. To the boy's credit, he didn't retaliate. Well, he should have done. He should have kicked that man really where it hurts. And the fact that society isn't dead has to do with you, Mac. But it requires more people like you to step in to help more people like him. Well, that's my message to the nation. All right, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.